Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. So today on Floral Friday, we're going to do a really loose, super fast, easy watercolor technique for any skill level. Can do this. Lifting paint, right? Wet on wet with lifting. So you lift these beautiful white atmospheric kind of daisies. And we're also putting down color as well. And I'll talk about the energy of painting and how simple this is. I'm telling you, any skill level can do this and it comes out so beautiful, you'd be surprised. It just takes a little effort. That's all it takes. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you haven't hit that bell notification button to know my tutorials up, please hit that bell notification button, tutorials up, so that you know when it's up and that you can comment and see it and play it. And this is such a fun and easy wildflower tutorial. I'm telling you, any skill level, and less than 15 minutes, you have a great painting to give somebody as a gift, which was great. Also, check out my Patreon. I have ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials on Thursdays, a live stream on the top tier. I also have a Facebook group where people share their paintings. We do weekly challenges and monthly giveaways. So all the information is in the link in the description box below. Click the word show more and you'll see it. So without further ado, let's get painting this really fun, simple, loose wildflower bouquet, well, not called bouquet, field, and using wet on wet and lifting techniques. Okay, so for this exercise, I'll go over some supplies. I have a piece of Arch 100% cotton cold pressed paper, just taped out magic tape on some cardboard. It's probably like an 8x10 size. I didn't really measure it, but my palette here, of course. Brushes I'll be playing with is just some craft 1-inch flat wash brush, probably my Princeton 12 Newptune series. Maybe I'll go back and use my 8 long round Princeton Velvet Touch series brush for like some nice little stems, whatnot. The long round's great for stems and long skinny leaves. So I might even play with, this is a whole intuitive painting. I might play with the hydrus watercolors from Dr. P.H. Martin's. I don't know. I like to see where it flows. I have an intention to teach you about just painting, because here I'm just trying to get back in the groove after being away, and I'd love to paint landscapes and florals. I did a landscape for my Patreons, and today I'll be doing floral for you. And just more of an abstract kind of feeling, nothing really special. I don't have a plan. You know, usually you have a plan sometimes at watercolor, but when you're just getting back into it, you're just playing with color and composition and shape and all that kind of stuff. So I thought we'd do some wet on wet and lifting. If you're not familiar with lifting, this is a perfect tutorial for any beginner to lift. And we're going to be lifting like more like daisies. And for the lifting, for the brush, I probably might use like a Princeton 10 round Velvet Touch series. I do some daisies in here. You can start off with background with the greens, and then we can lift some of the lovely white and play around with that. I'm going to play around with my flat wash brush. I'm going to get it wet. And we'll mix up some greens. Get the cadmium yellow deep here. I always mix my greens. I don't take them from the tube. It looks more natural. It doesn't look natural with the tube. I'll grab some peacock blue. If you don't have peacock, you can use turquoise. Look how nice and bright and intense that color is. And this is the consistency of kind of like coffee. I'm going to grab some Prussian blue, and you see how it gets darker. I'll clean up my brush and add some more yellow. And Prussian blue, get a darker green, and add some burnt umber in here. This is a craft brush, so I can just be a little abrasive to it. I'm not worried about wrecking the brush by just dapping and smacking the paint in here. The consistency is a little thicker than, it's probably milk consistency. So when I say the milk, think of milk, actual milk. You know, think of tea, actual tea. How thick and thin the water content of those things are. Cream, butter. Butter is like right out of the tube, vice versa. And then let's do some blues. Loosen up some ultramarine blue. It's a little dirty now because the green got in there. Get away, green. Play around blues. You can even do pinks. Whatever colors you like. We're just going to play around with a few. So, I have my wet 1-inch brush. I'm going to do this movement like this. Like, I want some energy to the painting. You can think about just like, oh, painting, da, 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 da. But energy, think of the energy. Like, obviously this is small. If you really want to paint big, this is perfect for that energy. So I'm going to grab some water. I'm just going to go like this on the side, back and forth, back and forth. From this, over here to the left, going up to the right. Start to grab my light color, green. You see the energy of the strokes on the chisel side of this brush, this 1-inch flat wash brush. You see where I'm going this? I had a wildflower tutorial, kind of similar with the same kind of energy, but we're doing some lifting on this one. We didn't do lifting on that one. See, I'm going to use this like this. This is the first wash of color. Oh yeah, and then we can start to play with the darker color in here a little bit. This is super easy. Don't tell me you can't do it. You can do it. Flat wash brush. You're just clicking these movements back and forth. La la la. See? Is that easy? Maybe add some ultramarine blue. It's going to change that green color. See? Now, I might even go in and play with, I'm going to remove some of this paint here. It's still damp. Let's play with a little color too. I mean, I was going to do some daisies, but I'm going to put some pink in there. This is a bright rose. Water this down. Kind of throw that color in a little bit. Peeking through. And even the ultramarine blue. Of course, that can make it a little purple. And that green just went in there. Just ruined my blue. I'm just going to move it up in here a little bit. You do need some darker color if you're going to do some negative painting and slash lifting. So I'm adding the blue. I'm not going to add it everywhere. I'll water it down by grabbing some water on my brush and mushing it. See how I'm mushing it on this one side? But do you feel the energy? Do you feel it? Do you feel it? I get excited. I know, I'm excited. I've got a little jet lag, but that's what it's all about, right? Now I've got that pink back in here. So I've got some pink kind of happening with purple. I'm just playing. See, I'm just moving that brush and playing. La, la, la. You can hear that rain really coming down. And the thunder. Hopefully we don't lose the video. Okay, I'm getting the dark green in here. Back in there. So it looks kind of a blobby because it's wet on wet. I'm going to get some thicker yellow green paint here. This is more consistency of cream going back in here. I might go right in and use my number 8 long round so I can get some nice skinny little marks here. So here we go. Do some nice little skinny little lines like this. See, have some fun with it. We can start to play with lifting now, a little bit. I'm going in with the green to dark green. You feel this energy kind of moving like grasses, and it's kind of going like wild. But do you feel it? All right, lifting. This is a dry, flat, round brush. Put some water on it. You want to have a paper towel close by, or a towel. We'll start to lift the shape of a daisy. So here I'm lifting and tapping back on the paper towel. You see that? I'm getting it wet and then tapping that paint back on. It's like mopping the paint. And you slowly start to see the flower emerge. Now I'm going to have to lift kind of the center too, because if it doesn't look like a daisy, it can look like another flower, because maybe my petals are just too wide. Take your time with this. If it's really damp, it's going to kind of fold back in a little bit. You don't want to wait till it's super dry though. See what's happening? Look at that. Pretty atmospheric petals happening. Trust me, any beginner can do this. I'm going back in, got some more water, and lifting and mopping, lifting and mopping. Look how cool that looks. Now that's a little too straightforward for me for a daisy. I'm going to do some ones that are inside. Lifting here. You see, it's the same mopping technique. It's kind of fun, isn't it? So I'm only doing petals like this way because on the side it's going to show. Just twisting that a little bit for the center. Maybe some little ones in here. It's kind of not looking so much like a daisy. It's more looking like, I don't know, a white flower, which is fine. I think I needed a skinnier brush. Like a small filbert. This is how you get those really kind of cool atmospheric flowers. If you've tried playing with that. So you can paint around it, which is more difficult when it's really loose like this, or you can go in and add. You can just lift up some more paint too with the green. You see that? You can lift a little skinny line, but it will take a time to do that. See? I'm lifting like a skinny line, kind of shooting out. But do you see that? That's the tip of this brush. These are things to play with, go into the, even to the pink color. Is that not cool or what? So I'm going to try and do a tiny daisy just by doing teeny little strokes on the tip of the brush. Lifting that paint color, tapping it back on the paper towel. Sometimes every now and then you have to grab water on your paintbrush and lift it so it gets white. You want a little one. You want to vary your flowers. You don't want them all to be the same size. This is a great technique for a beginner, professional. There's some really professional watercolorists that do a lot of flowers that use this technique. It's a lot of fun. So you can go back in here and lift some of the dark green out, and you can go back in and paint that over with the light green. You see how it got really dark in there? You can change that. Doesn't it look cool? And you can lift up in here. Just a fun way to play with watercolor. If you've never tried it, right? And here's the part you can go in and just fill in that negative space. I'm going to make this really thick, butterish, kind of dark green. It's still damp. You can kind of play with adding the color around it. See? Filling in that. It might fold in a little too much, so just be careful because we just lifted some paint, but now it's really kind of, see the negative space? Do. Filling that in. You can make some lines going back in here with the dark, thick. This is the number 8 round. Look how cool that is. Did it take much effort? 0. I'm going to tap this in here because it's still damp. And it looks like a dot. So I'm going to manipulate it a little bit. I'm going to just mush it around a little bit. Try not to get around my flower petals. Get around these ones. Make it look very atmospheric instead of like a big dot. There. Fix that. Was that a lot of effort? 0. Right? And you can go back in and grab your yellow, cadmium yellow deep. I might add a tinge of like red to it to get a little orange. Start to play with the center here. Just putting in the pretty yellow centers of the daisies. You kind of lifted. Isn't that sweet? You can put some yellow over here, some yellow flowers. Right out of the tube, by the way. You'd be surprised what you can do with yellow. Thick light green. Go back in here and put some nice leaves. We can play around with some of the pinks too. Kind of mushed out there. Now this is less than about 10 minutes to make those flowers. And now you can start to play with other techniques with flowers. I'm going to go and use this brush still. Maybe I'm just going to wiggle back and forth and make some little petals here. See? Some of the flowers. But you can. Wiggling back and forth. And then some other ones up here. During the thunderstorm. See all these fun techniques you can do. Going back in here and just tippy tapping. It's my favorite word. There's more color in here. Boom, loose. Now, those might seem really kind of tight compared to the loose flower that we did with white. So you can go back in once you get the petals in there and kind of mush around them to soften the edges of them. to have them look more atmospheric, kind of. So you take a paper towel and just soften. Now they're having that nice soft feel to them. And they don't look so serious. Just do some little dots up in here. Right? I might balance it by adding a little pink over here. Just really wet, loose. If it hits the blue, it might turn a little purple. You see that? Does that take a lot of effort, energy? 0! And that's that. And then I'm going to go put a little bit more dark color. This is where you tweak it. You can add some like leaves. You know, I didn't have leaves. It's kind of just like mushing it around. Adding some like stems and leaves with the point. And you've created just a beautiful painting. I'm going back down in here. Even grab some brown. The energy is all like swooping up over there. See? A negative painting of the loose flowers. And I'll add a yellow center to the pink ones too. Don't want to leave them out. Now, less than 15 minutes, you have this really cool kind of painting with some techniques, right? If you feel like you can lift this a little more, you want to lift it a little more, go ahead. Play around with it. It's going to dry completely at one point, and you're not going to be able to lift it as much. You can soften this little dark edges here. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my power. But I hope this was useful in learning how to lift color. Go back in those areas that I lifted and add that light green. See? And of course, some more dark green stems. Really simple, fun technique to paint some really sweet wildflowers. You should try this often when you're experimenting with watercolor. And I'm using like the cold press paper. I know some people don't want to experiment in nice paper, but you kind of have to. Really, I didn't use the hydrus watercolors. I could have. I can still play with them. I'm kind of liking the colors I have here. I don't know if I want to experiment adding a little more red or orange. This is wonderful. What is this vermilion hue here? Let's just put a dab in there. Ooh, is that exciting? You can't see it. There it is. Just a lovely color. Let's just play with adding a little bit of this fun color in here somewhere. Oh, that just changes everything, right? Got this bright vermilion hue. Color is my favorite thing about art. Whether it's a landscape, I'm going to add it over here, and I'm going to put some little dashes of it down in here. Or floral. I just love to play with color. It's my thing. And I'm going to go up here where the blue is and add some of this blue, maybe purple. I took some of the rose and added some the ultramarine blue. I'm going to put some purple up here. It could be like a nice purple flower. Now that looks a little more serious. So again, grab some water and just kind of blend it out. See? On the edges. Just touch the water on the edges of these lovely little blooms I just tapped down, really. And then they're nice and softened. See? They're kind of atmospheric now. They've kind of blended into the background. Same thing with the vermilion and the pink. Just kind of blend them back. And now we've created this really sweet little painting. Really quick and fun. So let me know if this technique was fun for you. Try it out. I'd love to hear it. This is a way you can make some white flowers without having to, oh my god, I forgot to mask it in, and you don't want to use gouache, you want to make it all watercolor, and you want to have this kind of really fun, loose style. I'd love to hear the comments if you tried this, if you love lifting, if you hate it, let me know. And thank you for stopping by my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you haven't hit that bell notification button, please hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial's up. It'd be great if you can comment and like play it, because YouTube is doing some weird stuff where they're not showing people like myself as much as they're showing other channels that are doing kind of fad kind of art. So I would really appreciate it if you can actually watch and share. Thank you so much, and have a great day.